In the past I filmed a video, it was like things that I'd tell my teenage self slash high school advice. I filmed it ages ago, I'll link it below if you've not seen it. I thought I would film another sort of high school slash teenage related video because recently on Instagram and like Snapchat and stuff I mentioned exam results, and I got a bunch of messages from teenagers either really pleased with their exam results and so many of you did really well, by the way, so well done. And then there was also teenagers that were freaking out, they were so upset by their exam results, and so many of them were really good, but it wasn't what they wanted because they'd been put under so much pressure to get the exact results that, you know, that they had in their head. And when I was getting all these messages and all these teenagers that were worried about stuff like going to uni, applying for uni, they didn't know what they wanted to do in life, all this stuff, I need to make another video about this because I was like, there's just so many worried teenagers, and I was like, this is so sad. I'm going to try and use my platform to help people not freak out so much, hopefully. If you didn't get the results that you wanted, please don't freak out about it, don't worry about it. Exam results aren't the be all and end all. So many people I know from school didn't get the exam results they wanted and they're still doing amazingly well. Me, I got the exam results I wanted, but I ended up going to uni because I felt like I had to, and then I freaked out, dropped out after 2 years, and like just realised that uni wasn't even what I wanted to do. And I don't think anybody really knows what they want to do in life, and if you do, you're really lucky. The majority of people don't know what they're doing in life, don't know what they want to do, and still don't. Everybody's winging it, trust me. Adults that you think have their shit together are winging it. Exam results meant nothing to me. It doesn't even relate to anything I'm doing. In my job, I work with people with dementia. Luckily I left uni and got this job, and back then you didn't need any experience or qualifications or anything for this job. I'm not sure now if you do need the qualification, but you can still like go to college and, you know, do something relating to healthcare if that's what you're interested in. I got my qualifications through this job. I didn't need uni, I didn't need my exam results or anything like that. It's not the end of the world if you didn't get what you wanted. Asked on Instagram for questions, so I've got a bunch of questions relating to being a teenager and high school that I'm going to answer. The first one is it's by Exo Kenu, and they asked, did you have any boyfriends as a teenager? I hate to say that I wasted so much of my teenage years being worried about boys. I had my very first boyfriend aged 14, 15. I didn't feel that I was even ready for a boyfriend. Like, I still hadn't grown up. I didn't feel the pressure that I feel like so many people probably have now to like get relationships and have their first kiss and lose their virginity or whatever. But aged like 14, I still was just like, I don't want a boyfriend. And then the opportunity came up. I started hanging out with this group of people in first year, or these 3 boys started hanging out with us. We used to hang about in the park next to the school, so you know, these 3 boys started hanging out with us, and I got talking to one of them and I ended up really liking him. And then he told one of my friends that he liked me and asked me out through her, and then she came into the toilet and said, oh, so and so wants to ask you out, and I just panicked and said yes, even though I wasn't ready. And I ended up in a 2.5 year relationship with this guy. I wasted so much time on this stupid relationship. It was one of those ones where like we didn't even hug for like the first 2 months, we didn't kiss for the first 2 months. I just wasn't ready. Like, this guy ended up dumping me on MySpace. Remember MySpace? Well, I got dumped in MySpace. Then after that I ended up going out with another guy. Like, the first relationship was fine at first, and then it went to hell, and he treated me really badly and it just wasn't good. Thankfully he dumped me in MySpace, or I would have still just been going along with it. And then I met this other guy through mutual friends who, I think I went out with him for about 3 years, maybe more, I'm not sure. I've never talked about this relationship on the internet because it was just the worst period of my life. It was horrendous. It was a very toxic relationship, very mentally abusive relationship. I don't know if I'll ever make a video about it. I'm not sure, because it's just one of these things that I don't really want to revisit. Yeah, I focused a lot of my time and energy into him, and then once I'd finally got out of this horrible toxic relationship I went out with, no, there was a guy in between. That's a lie. There was a guy in between the 2 guys. I had like a rebound after the first guy, and that was like a few months long, and that's how I've actually got friends with Steph, my best friend now. Basically, point is, I spent way too much time focused on relationships as a teenager when I could have been enjoying myself. Like, that last relationship that I had near the end of my high school years, like, I should have been having fun and enjoying myself, and instead I was depressed. Like, I had depression. I was just miserable. Just from 3rd year to 6th year of high school was just the worst. So yeah, I did have relationships in high school, and I wouldn't say I regret them because you learn from everything blah blah blah, but they were horrific and I probably could have been better just not experiencing these things. Well, that was a heavy one to start with. Damien, who I went to school with, asked, do you still have my rubber? And I wrote about this on Instagram stories. Right, me and Damien were so mature and we named a rubber, well, we call erasers rubbers, right? I know rubbers are condoms in other places, but we call erasers rubbers. So we called this rubber sex, so that we could shout over class, Damien, can I have sex? Or Erin, have you got sex? And I actually can't find him. I thought I still had the rubber, but I can't find him. I'm sorry, Damien. I think sex is dead. Rachel asked, having your period in school, any stories from getting your period in school? Yep. I remember I used to wear white joggies in PE because I was very fashionable, and I leaked through my joggies. I remember being on an exercise bike. I noticed it was on my trousers afterwards when I went to the toilet, and I was like, oh, I've leaked. Nobody told me. Also, this was one of the worst moments of high school for me. So I used to struggle with periods really badly. I used to get really heavy, painful periods that used to make me sick. And my mum wrote me a note one day for PE saying, Erin can't do PE as she has a heavy period. And my stupid PE teacher left the note on the bench in the guys' PE hall. The guys were in a different hall doing PE. The guy who used to bully me, right, something awful in first and second year, found the note and read it out to the entire boys class, so everyone knew I was on my period. But as like a 13-year-old girl, I was mortified. I was so upset and I was raging at that teacher for leaving that note there. But then another really nice guy gave me the note back and said, here you go, Erin. And I was like, oh, Dean, you're the man. Someone said, I'm just going into S1 at insert exact same school that I went to. Is it scary? S1 is just first year of high school. I really enjoyed my first day. Like, my first day of high school really sticks out in my head because I got quite lucky with my high school class. I was in with a lot of people that I got on well with from primary school. I was so excited, and no, it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. I had a ball in first year. It's not scary and you shouldn't be worried, and you should enjoy it as much as you can. Kimmy said, did you have one friend group or were you a floater? I was a massive floater. In first year I had like my best friends from primary school in my class, so I hung about with them, and then we made a couple of other friends in the class as well. So we hung out as like a girl group from like all the way through school. It was a pretty toxic friendship group. Like we were like best friends, but we were very bitchy with each other. It just wasn't very nice. I floated around different groups as I got older. I had other friends as well that I made in high school. So I had like Fraser, who was my ex-boyfriend. I hung out with him and like his friends, and then also my very first boyfriend and his friends. And then there was the goths under the there was like a little bit in school where the goths used to stand. We called them the goths. And Steph, who's my best friend now, she was a goth and she hung out with them. So like her and a couple of other girls used to sometimes sit with us at lunch. So like we all sort of like became friends because we were all in classes with each other. But yeah, I was pretty much a floater. I floated between a lot of people. And then in 6th year things got better and everyone was friends because all the crap people had left. So in 6th year it was just like a whole bunch of people that really got on well, and we all sat in the balcony. The 6th years had a balcony, so we would all sit together on the balcony and it was good. Hannah and Ella both asked me, what was your favourite subject? English. I was really good at English. It's not very apparent because I can't speak, but I was good at English. I can't even remember what else I did. PSE was always a good laugh. Caitlin, worst experience with teachers. The one that sticks out, right, we had this horrible teacher called Mr. Stevenson. And Mr. Stevenson, for some reason, took a disliking to me, even though I would try and be quiet in that class because he would pick on people. So if I stayed quiet, I thought, he won't pick on me. But one time he caught me talking and he moved me right down to the front of the class by myself. So I was sitting right at the front. And maths whoa. It's always been my worst subject. I'm terrible at maths, I still am, but he used to like use this against me. Oh, there was so much that went on in that class. Like one time I got really embarrassed because I used to love milk in high school, and the milk van passed by and I just without thinking shouted, milk! And he gave me, I was well embarrassed, he gave me in trouble. We'd all sit in silence, be doing maths, and he would just be belting out Kate Bush from the computer, and he would burn incense, which we all complained about because it was really strong. Anyway, yeah, so he knew that I was bad at maths. So when we got our exam results and test results back, he would hand them out in order of like best mark to worst mark. And like my best friends were really good at maths, so they used to get theirs back first, and I'd be sitting there like always last. Like I would never get mine back any earlier than last, and I feel like he just did it to make me feel crap. And then there was times where like he would ask me a question and I wouldn't know the answer, so he would say like the amount of time that I took to answer that question, he would keep the entire class behind. The whole class would be raging at me like, come on Erin, and I'd be like, I don't know the answer, and he'd be like, 5 minutes. I just kept the class behind on multiple occasions because of that guy. There was other teachers as well that weren't very nice, but he's the one that sticks out the most, I think. Someone who I didn't want to name said, I'm a guy in 6th form, never dated, need some relationship advice, I feel a bit lonely at times. And all I can say to that is look at my experience. Like, I wish so much that I just focused more on school and friends and just living my teenage life than focusing on relationships, because I went through the worst times of my life and as a teenager because of relationships. And I'm not saying it's the same for everyone, because of course it's not, but I feel still like, and so many of my friends agree, that they spent so much time on relationships when they could have been spending time on enjoying life. Please don't feel in a hurry to get into any sort of relationship. Just focus on your friends and focus on living your life, and you'll meet somebody someday. You always meet people when you're not looking. Yeah, it'll come, but don't rush it. Like, there is no rush. You're still, you're in 6th form, like you're in 6th year, like you're still so young. And after high school you're going to meet so many new people, trust me, and you'll be fine. Clara said, did you have any issues / problems with your self-esteem? Oh my god, yes. It's actually really sad because in primary school I don't think I even thought about my appearance once, because I just didn't care, and then I still carried that on from like first and 2nd year of high school. Like, I still wasn't bothered. I didn't wear makeup up until like 5th year of high school maybe, because I just didn't feel the need. We did have the internet, but we didn't have all that, you know, exists now. Like, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have an awful lot to compare ourselves to except other girls in school. Your appearance wasn't like a massive thing. Everybody had braces. What doesn't happen now is like kids now don't go through that awkward phase that we all had. Like, we went through a terrible phase. We all had braces, spots, horrible hair. We didn't wear makeup, you know, like now like kids can hide their appearance with their like makeup and stuff, which is mad to think that like kids like try and look older than they are and stuff. But I had braces. I had like very, like, you know how my teeth are wonky just now. Fun fact, I'm actually getting braces next week. What day is this? Aye, next week. But I'm getting the braces that go in the back of your teeth. But I had the proper, you know, train tracks. I used to scrape my hair back, but that like didn't bother me back then because it wasn't as big a thing. But then that bully started making fun of my teeth. Like, I had really squinty teeth, like they turned in the way, and obviously they were quite big, so he used to make fun of my teeth. It just made me feel awful about my appearance. In high school I was dead skinny. I was like this lanky tall teenager that had like loads of spots and wonky teeth and braces. But then like that went away. Once I got my braces off I felt amazing all through high school. So Autism Girl said, how does Scotland do prom? Our school, I don't know about other schools, but our school called it the Leavers Dance, and what did we do again? We just went to a local like nice place, got a meal. I don't remember, if I'm honest. I really don't remember. We used to like get pictures and stuff before it. You didn't get asked to prom. Like, girls and guys don't go together. You just go with your friends. There was a ceilidh. There was always a ceilidh, like Scottish country dancing, which was stressful because nobody knew the moves. And then afterwards you would go to a party and have a drink. There wasn't any of this prom king or queen or anything like that. Like, it was all very, go and have a meal, dance. Someone said, any tips for UCAS? I know you only went to uni for a while, but you still applied. So UCAS is the Universities and College Admission Service. They basically just operate the uni application processes. So applications for UCAS 2019 are open now, but completed applications can't be submitted until the 5th of September. Just go by like the deadline of your school or college and follow that. I can't really remember my uni experience. I was only there for 2 years, in 2009, 2010 to 11. I can't remember, but I hated it and I can't really remember much about it. I think I've like repressed it. I don't know. Kirsty said, most embarrassing high school memory. There's a big staircase that I always fell up and down. It was like happened on multiple occasions, and the place was crowded, deserted, and like everybody was standing around the bottom of the stairs. So I was walking up these stairs carrying my lunch, and my leg just like went all weird and I landed on my side on the step, and I just remember like dying inside. And then I remember looking up and looking at a group of girls, because I always need to catch somebody's eye if I fall and like get them to help me, like subconsciously, telepathically even. So I was looking at these girls like, and they just were like, oh, I was so embarrassed. And then I cried because I was so embarrassed. I also went to school with one tartan shoe on and one black shoe. One was red, one was black. Andrew said, were you popular in high school, and do you think popularity matters? Popularity absolutely does not matter in the slightest. Like, the popular kids at our school were kind of like the more bad kids, if that makes sense. Like the ones that like drank at an earlier age and that were more outspoken with teachers and that were just generally a bit more needy. Like, they were the popular kids in our school. I wasn't a quiet kid, but with like stuff like misbehaving in class and things, I wasn't really like that, so I was not a popular kid at all. See, the people that were popular in high school or that were bad or like that bullied me, I have not seen one single one of them since. See, when you leave high school, these people won't matter. They won't be popular. They won't have that status anymore. Like, it doesn't matter. Kirsten said, I just went into high school, any advice? The main two things, right, that I think is so important and have been so beneficial to me: take lots of photos. In first year, it's mostly just disposable cameras, so I used to take disposable cameras in and like take pictures, and then digital cameras became a thing. But I just wish that I took more photos from every year. But I feel like that's not even a problem now, because everyone has cameras on their phones and everybody takes photos anyway. But just get loads of photos with your friends and stuff. It's just nice to have. And also, the main one that I would still say to everybody like at my age and older: write a diary. There's a website called LiveJournal. I've kept a live journal since P7 of primary school. Well, I wrote in a paper diary, but I copied it into my live journal. You can keep it private, you write in it. Like, I force myself to write in it because I don't like keeping a diary, but I can now go back and read from like, well, I actually deleted my 1st to 3rd year diary, which I'm raging about, but I can go back and read from age 14 what I was worried about then, what was going on in my life, and it's amazing. And I would encourage everyone to keep a diary, because it is so good to be able to go back and read it, because you'll forget it. You'll forget your high school years and you won't be able to remember it, and you'll never get that back. But if you've written about everything in your diary, you can. So please keep a diary, even if you don't like writing. Like, I hate writing. Like, I don't hate it, but I just can never be bothered. I force myself to write in it like once a week. I used to try and do it every day, but it's really, really difficult. But if I did it every day, it wouldn't take long, and it would be so beneficial. So please do it. Please keep a diary. Shauna said, how do you let go of your best friend? They were very hurtful and I don't want to be friends anymore, but it's hard. That is hard. Like, I kind of had the same situation in 5th and 6th year. Like, my friend group were really bitchy with each other, and in 6th year we all went on a holiday together, and all throughout 6th year, like, my best friend, she became bitchier and bitchier, and she just became a sort of person that I didn't really want to be around. I'm sure she's different now, but back then she was just so bitchy and I just didn't want to be a part of it. And then we all went on holiday together, and she was sort of like the ringleader almost. So on holiday she cheated on her boyfriend, who I was also friends with, but she had no remorse. So I just couldn't even, I didn't want to be a part of it. I hated that part of her. Once when we got back from the holiday, like, I just slowly stopped. I just started like phasing her out. I did tell her that, you know, this is how I felt, blah blah, and then the rest of the group sided with her because she was like the sort of ringleader. I did lose a group of friends in high school, but that is when I started like hanging about with Steph a bit more, the pure goth in school, and now me and Steph are best friends. And then after school as well, like, I got a job. I got a retail job, and then that's how I started. And then Amy, my friend Amy, worked in the same shop as me, so that's how we became friends. And we weren't friends in school, but we became best friends after school. So it just shows you how differently things go. Like, you will meet so many new people, especially if you like go to uni and stuff and get a job. You'll meet completely new people and you'll make new friends. I never see that group of girls that I hung out with. I never see them now. I do have a few friends still from high school, but and Amy, I've known Amy since primary school. If she's really properly getting you down and you don't want to be friends with her anymore, you don't owe her anything. You have to focus on yourself. So take yourself out of the situation, even just talk to her about it, distance yourself from her. If that's how you feel, it's for the best, for sure. You're not going to be bothered in time. Like, time heals all, but in time you won't care. And last question, Johnny said, when school was over, were you sad or relieved? I don't know if you mean like day to day when school was over. I was very relieved when school was over. When school was over altogether, I was sad because I'm quite bad with change and the thought of uni terrified me. But I welcomed it because I think I was just so done by school at this point that I was like, get me out of here. Okay, let's all discuss high school in the comments below. If you have any other questions relating to being a teenager or high school, leave them in the comments below and we can chat about it. And please don't worry again about your exam results if you didn't get what you wanted to get, because it's fine. Things will be fine. Things will work out. If you enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe. You can click the wee notification bell if you want notified of when I upload. And thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.